Eric Kendricks is Gonzo. What are the Vikings' plans now at linebacker? All right, Minnesota Vikings released longtime veteran linebacker Eric Kendricks. So now, what the hell are they going to do at the position?
What are they going to do? They got a big old gaping hole just like in the middle of Lupagus, and we're going to go over some options, and also at the end, we're gonna predict how this shakes out with even specific players.
Yeah, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we do that?
Because
So,
we're morons.
All right. Oh my God. Well, guys, remember, hit that sub button, like the vids, comment as well. Onebar apparently has other things going on. He must tend to.
All right, pretending I was breaking news, but nobody texts me. So.
All right, Eric Kendricks gone. So no, I mean, let's talk about some options. What's the first one?
The first one is, as of now, they have Brian Asamoah and Troy Dye.
Oh my God, what do you think of that one?
If that happens, we'll all die. Get it?
I do. But here's the thing that even gives this one even a sliver, a pube of possibility. Kwesi at this press conference, he already kind of foreshadowed this coming when he talked about the linebacker position. He talked about three guys: Brian Asamoah, Troy Dye, and William Kwineku. So didn't mention Eric Kendricks, didn't mention Jordan Hicks. He mentioned those three. So Troy Dye right now is going to be the starter next to Brian Asamoah.
Well, I mean, he probably mentioned those guys because he knew that those would be the only three on the roster. So, I mean, we'll see. But if it's Troy Dye and Brian Asamoah, yikes. Let's go to a different option quick.
Yeah, what else you got? What's another option?
Well, Asamoah is going to be in every one of these options. I think everybody can agree that it's his job to lose. But they could roll with Mr. Asamoah and a rookie, but not so much an early round rookie. We'll get into that later. Maybe a mid to later round rookie, like a Cam Jones, a Dorian Williams from Tulane, someone like that.
Yeah, you can look at old T-Rex Arms, Ivan Pace Jr., wherever he ends up going off the board, another option there. So they could go that route. You look at these other linebackers who I was looking at third round, but everybody worked out pretty well. So I'm not so sure these guys I had in mind are going to be there. Jack Campbell's, the Mario Overshown guys, the Owen Papoi, they all blew their workouts to the water. So you can't guarantee any one of those three is going to fall to 87.
Well, and I did a little digging here on what Mr. Flores over the years when he was head coach, defensive coordinator. It doesn't seem like he gives two shits who are his middle linebackers are. Look at the teams he's coached. He doesn't have these big, splashy, beautiful names up there. He doesn't even draft linebackers early. Never. He doesn't draft linebackers early. He's always looking at defensive line and the secondary. I honestly don't think linebacker is even going to be on the radar at all.
Well, we went through who they met with. Not a single linebacker was in there.
Yeah, and you know what? Take it with a grain of salt, however you say that. But everything, all this time at Dolphins, even Pittsburgh, his linebackers, their middle linebackers, they're no names. No names.
All right, so then another option would be Brian Asamoah, and maybe not a super sexy veteran, but a veteran out there.
Yeah, just getting some elderly fella next to him who knows the league, who knows the spot, take Asamoah under his wing, but isn't going to cost a ton of money, isn't going to be somebody that sets our salary cap back, and it can just, I don't know, not suck, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
he won't be a star, but he's not going to suck.
Yeah, you can find someone like that out there, and there's actually the free agent market isn't horrible when it comes to linebackers for a guy who just maybe even just kind of a placeholder for a year or two next to Asamoah. So that is definitely an option the Vikings could go. And, just the way things are trending with, who they looked at the combine makes you think maybe that's what they're thinking right now.
Yeah. And there's a lot of names out there. And every year in free agency, these inside linebackers, they seem to not get paid as much as they're hoping. And maybe we'll get one of those sexy names. I mean, Kyle Van Noy is out there. He's probably one of the bigger names that has been with Brian Flores. So,
yep. And then what's the last option the Vikings could do?
Well, the last option would be the sexier route, which, again, I don't think is going to happen. I'm spoiling my prediction here, but where they splurge on a free agent, they put that money towards a Tremaine Edmonds or somebody like that, and then also draft a first-round linebacker. I mean, Trenton Simpson, Drew Sanders, or even in like round 3 with Overshown, Campbell, guys like that.
Yeah. Definitely an option. And but you just said Flores doesn't have a record of doing that. Doesn't mean he won't. Doesn't mean he can't, because it has happened before. Doesn't mean it won't. I'd be curious to see. Quasey's first pick was a safety. Will his second first rounder be a linebacker, another position that maybe isn't always taken early in the draft?
Yeah, I'm starting to just either trick myself into. I just don't think inside linebackers is that important compared to the other positions on this defense in a 3-4.
All right. Well, now it is prediction time. What do we predict the Vikings are going to do? I'm gonna let you go first because I have two that I'm comfortable going with. So I don't know what you're going to say.
I don't think you're not gonna guess mine. I guarantee you that. So we're assuming Za'Darius and Hunter on the edges. Okay, so we're just dealing with the middle. So Brian Asamoah securely there. I think the Vikings don't even sniff around a linebacker really at all in the draft. I think Troy Dye comes back. I think they do bring in some sort of additional veteran depth. But when all is said and done, you're starting Minnesota Vikings inside linebackers will be Brian Asamoah and Robert Spillane. Robert Spillane, he was the inside linebacker for the Steelers last year. And he's a free agent. He's going to be cheap. He's not sexy. But Brian Flores seems to enjoy him a little bit. So I'm going with Robert freaking Spillane. Everybody go get your Spillane jerseys.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a different one, a guy who just tends to follow Brian Flores wherever he goes, and that is Mr. Elandon Roberts, another name that's going to get everybody excited, but Flores went to, he was in New England, he was there, went to Miami, he followed him there. I don't think he went to Pittsburgh, but he was still in Miami. But Elandon Roberts.
Back to New England.
And Flores. They have a shared connection, and I think he will follow him in Minnesota Vikings and be starting next to Brian Asamoah, who's going to have just the most amazing sophomore season you ever seen in your life.
It's funny so I went with Spillane thinking there's no way in hell you're going to go with him. Elandon Roberts was my second one. He was with the Patriots last year. He had like 4.5 sacks. I just think it's not, I keep saying it, but it's just going to be a guy that we're going to be like, what? Well, we're going to concentrate up front and in the back.
My second option was going to be Trenton Simpson, but not, he may be listed as the inside linebacker. I don't think that's how he's going to be used. Maybe you'll see somebody else playing more snaps in the middle, but Trenton Simpson could be that guy who is technically this one next to Asamoah.
That would be the sexy route. That'd be the sexy route. Let us know down below what you're thinking the Vikings will do inside linebacker.
Yeah, and also maybe remember this. In the show Seinfeld, Elaine's father was supposed to be a recurring character, but the actor was dropped after making threatening gestures towards Jerry with a knife, and the cast found him terrifying.
This is terrifying.
I think they just recast him.